In my past life, on the eve of the college entrance exam, the whole class was going to the Education Bureau to protest. I called them one by one and begged 37 people, "Don't go. You'll be late." They listened. Entered the exam room. Only Zhou Nianru went. She was late. Her college entrance exam was ruined. Later, the whole class said I had broken up the team and left her alone. Fu Yingxing slapped the sleeping pills onto my desk. "Her life is completely ruined, and you still have the nerve to stay alive." I swallowed 37 pills, counted one by one, the same number as those 37 phone calls, opening my eyes again. The night before the college entrance examination. Class group, 999 plus Zhou Nianru's voice message was at the top. "Meet at the Education Bureau entrance at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Whoever doesn't come is a traitor." In my previous life, I tried to stop it. In this lifetime, I tapped leave group chat. I was jolted awake by my phone vibrating. It buzzed incessantly. Under the pillow. The frequency is dense as a monitor before cardiac arrest. I opened my eyes and saw the crack in the ceiling. An L-shaped one from the lamp, all the way to the corner of the wall. I've been staring at this crack for 3 years, because after taking sleeping pills, I can only lie on my back, unable to move my eyes, and the last thing I see is it. I sat up abruptly. My fingers are trembling. Not because of the cold. Touch my face. No squealing. Touch my neck. No bruises. My heartbeat quickened, and my temples throbbed painfully. "I've died before." These 4 words were like nails hammered one by one into the depths of my mind. The phone is still vibrating. I lifted the pillow. Hundreds of messages popped up on the screen. The class group chat. At the top was Zhou Nianru's voice message, 60 seconds long, marked with a red exclamation point. My finger hovered above the screen. In my past life, at this moment, I tapped on this voice message. Then I made 37 phone calls until my phone was scorching hot, until my voice was hoarse. I pleaded with everyone, "Don't go. The college entrance exam is tomorrow, and if you're late, you won't be allowed in." They agreed. They all agreed. Then they all entered the exam hall. Only Zhou Nianru went alone. Only she was late. Only her college entrance exam was going later. She repeated a year, became depressed, and dropped out of school later. The whole class blamed me. Shinzi made a call to disband the team, causing Zhou and I and Air to go alone. No one helped her keep track of time. No one reminded her to leave. So she was late. So she ruined everything. So go die. When Fu Yingxing placed the medicine bottle on my desk, not a single person in the class stopped him. I dragged the audio progress bar to the right, then dragged it back again. Zhou and I and Air's voice rang out, tearful, trembling. With her signature fragility, teacher Li reported me for cheating. And I got a demerit. "This isn't just about me. If they can do this to me, they can do it to every one of you in the future. Meet at the entrance of the Education Bureau at 7:30 tomorrow morning. The college entrance exam doesn't start until 9 o'clock. There's still time. Anyone who doesn't come is a traitor." The group chat was already flooding with messages, and I and Ru, "Don't cry, I'll go. You have to go. This is too much. What about Shinzi? Z, are you going?" "At Shinzi, at Shinzi, at Shinzi." I stared at the blinking cursor on the screen, took a deep breath, press and hold the bottom of the screen. With your thumb, swipe up, tap exit group chat, confirm, exit, confirm the page, snapped back to the contacts list. And the class group disappeared. 3 seconds later the phone rang. Caller ID Joe and I and Ru. I stared for 2 seconds, pressed decline. It rang again, declined the 3rd time. I long pressed her profile picture, add to blacklist. The world fell silent. I flipped the phone over and placed it face down on the bed, my eyes fixed on the L-shaped crack on the ceiling. In my previous life, I stopped 37 people, saved 37 people, sentenced to death by 37 people. In this lifetime, I won't stop anyone. The phone buzzed in the covers for another 10-odd minutes. I didn't look. I went to the bathroom and washed my face, then looked at myself in the mirror. 18, no dark circles under my eyes, no crescent-shaped scars from fingernail marks. And my lips weren't the ghastly pale color they turn after vomiting from sleeping pills. A living face back on the bed. I picked up my phone. 23 missed calls. 12 text messages. Zhou Nianru had been blocked, but the others had not. At the top of the text messages, "Fu Yanqing Gesse. Z, what do you mean by leaving the group? Nianru is so anxious she's crying. You are, after all, her best friend. You must be there for tomorrow's event. I read it once. And read it again. Her best friend. In my previous life, this best friend put sleeping pills on my desk, saying I didn't deserve to live. I tapped on the screen recording function on my phone and captured this text message. Then I scrolled to his call log and turned on the call recording. Call back. He answered in 2 seconds. Z, you finally Fu Yanqing. What time are we meeting tomorrow? He froze for a moment. At 7:30. In front of the Education Bureau. Didn't Yenru say it in the group chat? Why did you leave the group? I'm not going. What? I said I'm not going. The college entrance exam is tomorrow. I have to take the test. There was a 3-second silence on the other end of the line. Then he lowered his voice in that same moral condemnation tone I had heard 100 times in my previous life. Shunzhe. It's been 3 years. Yenru has been singled out by teacher Li for a full 3 years. She's the most wronged person in our class. And she's finally stood up. And you're saying you won't go. Do you know what it means that you left the group chat? The whole class is watching. You're undermining us. Undermining what? You. If she goes to the Education Bureau to protest, will there still be time to take the exam afterward? Of course there's still time. The exam doesn't start until 9. Entry is prohibited 15 minutes after the exam begins. Have you calculated how long it takes to get from the Education Bureau to the exam site? Taking a taxi takes at most half an hour. The gathering is at 7:30. Do you think it'll be over by 8? What if it's not over by 9? Or even 9:30? No. Nianru Ru's it would only take half an hour at most. Does Zhou Nianru's word count for everything? Fu Yingqing paused. Fu Yingqing. You're betting your own college entrance exam on Zhou Nianru's 3 words. There's still time. Do you think it's worth it? There was silence again for 2 seconds. Then it exploded. Xinzi, you've changed. You weren't this kind of person before. Nianru trusts you so much. And this is how you treat her. How did I treat her badly? If I don't go, that means I'm letting her down. You're a traitor if you don't go. You're a traitor. Oh. I pressed to hang up. The call recording was automatically saved. Open the file manager and copy the recording to the cloud drive. Then save another copy to the email drafts folder. Then flip to the contacts and find Mom. The call was answered after 2 rings. Sweetie, why aren't you asleep yet? Mom, you don't need to come see me off for the exam tomorrow morning. I'll go by myself. All right. Your dad said he'll wait for you at the entrance of the exam site. Tell him not to come. What's wrong? Someone in our class is organizing a protest at the Education Bureau tomorrow morning. And someone might try to stop me outside the exam center. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line. Mom's voice changed. Who? It doesn't matter. I can handle it myself. If anything happens, I'll call 110. Do you want a mom? I'm just letting you know in advance. It's fine. Just keep your phones on. You and Dad hung up the phone. The room was very quiet. I dug out the old phone from the very bottom of the drawer. The one I replaced 2 years ago. The camera still works, and the battery is fully charged. Power on. Tested the camera. It can take photos and record videos. Tucked into the school uniform pocket. It fits perfectly over the left chest. With the lens facing outward. Walk to the desk and put the exam admission ticket, ID card, stationery pouch, and water bottle into a transparent bag. Check twice. My phone vibrated again. Text message. I didn't save the number, but I recognize it. Jianxiu, the class monitor. Z, are you really not going? Nianru said if you don't come, she'll tell the whole class you're a traitor. She already did. Screenshot. Save. Turn off the light. The phone under the pillow vibrates every few minutes. I keep my eyes closed, counting the vibrations. 1, 2, 3. It feels a lot like counting pills in my past life. But this time, with every jolt, I became a little more alert. The alarm went off at 6 o'clock. Actually, I had woken up at 5:40 while washing my face and brushing my teeth. I looked at myself in the mirror again, bright-eyed, without any airs. He put on his school uniform and patted his left chest. His old phone was there, hard and solid, pressed against his heartbeat. He carried the transparent bag in his hand and checked it for the 3rd time. Admission ticket, ID card, 2 2B pencils. 3 black gel pens, eraser, ruler. When he left home, Mom had still gotten up, standing in the entryway, without a coat, just a thin sweater draped over her shoulders. She handed me a thermos, tea, with brown sugar. It's cold in the exam hall. I took it. She then passed me a rice ball. Eat it on the way. Ich glänzte her. Her eyes were red, clearly having barely closed all night. Mom, I'm fine. Keep your phone on. It's on. The moment the door closed, I heard her sniffle. 6:20. Take a taxi. Driver. Take me to the number 8 middle school exam center. That early? Doesn't the exam start at 9 o'clock? Early arrival brings peace of mind. The driver chuckled and said nothing more. The car was very quiet. I took out my phone and turned it on. 47 unread messages. All of them were private messages. The group messages had nothing to do with me anymore. Scroll down. Most of the content was about the same. Z, have you lost your mind? Nienra cried all night. Do you even know? How could you do this to her? Traitor! I took screenshots one by one and saved them to the cloud drive. His expression was flat. I had seen something 100 times more ruthless in my past life. When I scrolled to the very bottom, there was one that was different. Posted by Lynn shouting, Z, are you really not going? I'm also a bit afraid of being late, but everyone else is going. And if I don't, Lynn shouting. My desk mate in my past life. She was the only one who secretly stuffed tissues into my desk hole. When I was being bullied, she never once stood up to say a word for me. No one did, but she put in tissues. I stared at this message and thought for 5 seconds. Reply. Entry is prohibited 15 minutes after the start of the Chinese language exam. It takes at least 25 minutes by taxi from the Education Bureau to the 8th middle school exam site. Calculate the time yourself and make your own decision. Send. Another message was added. I will arrive at the exam site at 7 o'clock. After locking the screen, he tucked it into his pocket. 6:45, the car stopped at the entrance of number 8 middle school. Outside the exam site, a red banner was strung up. No honking at the college entrance examination site. 2 police officers on duty were standing at the entrance, while the security guard was setting up the caution tape. I was the first examinee to arrive. After entering the campus, I found my examination room, classroom 302 on the 3rd floor. The door was still locked. The corridor was empty. The floor was waxed and reflective. I sat down on a bench in the corridor. I unscrewed the thermos and took a sip of ginger tea, spicy, sweet, and scalding to the lips. At 7:10, the phone vibrated. Lin Xiaodong. I just arrived at the entrance of the Education Bureau. Nian Ru is already here, and there are so many people. I'm scared. I didn't reply. At 7:25, Lin Xiaodong. Nian Ru said to wait a bit longer. The Education Bureau starts work at 8 o'clock. We'll leave as soon as someone comes out. I didn't reply. At 7:40, Lin Xiaodong. Z, there are already more than 20 people here. Almost the whole class is here. Only you, and a few others, who are still hesitating. I typed a line. The 8th high school exam venue is open for entry at 7 o'clock. It's still in time if you take a taxi now. 7:55, Lin Xiaodong. Someone from the Education Bureau came out, but Nian Ru won't leave. She's arguing with them. No one else dares to leave, either. 8:15, Lin Xiaodong. Z, I've called a taxi. I looked at these 4 words. The corner of my mouth twitched. I didn't laugh, because I knew the other 36 people wouldn't take this taxi. At 8:30, the area outside the examination hall began to buzz with activity. Parents seeing their children off crowded the school gate. A mix of colorful cheongsams and uncles holding sunflowers. Examinees trickled in, some chatting and laughing, others looking pale. I sat in my seat, arranging my stationery one item at a time. 2 pencils sharpened, the pen tested for ink, the admission ticket placed at the corner of the desk. 8:40, Lin Xiaodong rushed into the door, her backpack half hanging off her shoulder, her bangs stuck to her forehead, with sweat. The moment she saw me, her shoulders collapsed as if all the bones had been pulled out of her body. She flopped down beside me. Her seat had stood still in time. She was panting so hard she could barely catch her breath, her voice trembling. I glanced at her. Have some water. She took the thermos, her hands trembling, so much she couldn't unscrew the lid. I didn't look at her again, turning my head to scan the classroom. Classroom 302 had a total of 30 seats. 21 of them were occupied. 9 seats are empty. 7 of them are from our class. 8:55 the proctors entered. 1 man and 1 woman. The male teacher cleared his throat. Students, please turn off your phones and place them in the envelope bag by the door. The exam is about to begin. I turn off my phone, but I didn't turn off the old phone. It was in my school uniform pocket, had no SIM card, wouldn't ring, and only had a recording function. I didn't start the recording. Not needed now. 9 o'clock sharp the bell rang. The proctor distributed the exam papers. The Chinese language exam begins now. 15 minutes after the start. Entry to the exam room is prohibited. I open the test paper. Question 1. Modern reading comprehension. 9:03 a.m. Urgent footsteps echoed in the hallway. Patter, 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 as if someone was running desperately. The exam room door was pushed open a crack. A boy in a school uniform poked in half of his head. His face flushed red, sweat dripping from his chin onto the floor. Teacher. See. Can I come in? The proctor glanced at the clock. Yes. Hurry in. And take your seat. He scrambled to his desk, not even bothering to properly set down his backpack before frantically flipping through the test papers. 9:07, 2 more have arrived. A man and a woman. The girl's eyes were red, and she nearly bumped into the corner of the podium as she entered. 9:10. Footsteps in the hallway suddenly grew more frequent. Chaotic, hurried, like the muffled thunder before a storm. Teacher, please let me in. I was only a little late. Please. There was more than one voice. 5, 6, 7 or 8 of them overlapped, collided, and burst apart in the corridor. My pen never stopped. My eyes stayed fixed on the underlined part of the third reading comprehension passage. But my ears heard everything for me. 9:13. More sounds flooded in. Someone was shouting. Someone was crying. A voice I knew all too well. Sharp, tremulous, like a string stretched to its limit. Joni, Andrew, let me in. I'm begging you. I'm a candidate for this exam hall. The invigilator's voice was flat. Student, it's 9:13 now. There are 2 minutes left. Please show your exam admission ticket. The area outside the door was in total chaos. The other examinees in the classroom began to look up. I did not look up. 9:14 a.m. Quick. Where's my admission ticket? Mine is in my bag. I can't find it. Who stepped on my school bag? Move aside. I'm going in first. Someone rushed in. Jiang Xiao, class monitor. One shoe had come off, and he was standing barefoot on the tiled floor, the sole of his foot covered in dust. Any more? Is there anyone else? The proctor stood at the doorway, his expression stern. 9:15. The bell rang a second time. Time's up. Close the exam hall doors. No late examinees may enter. The door was shut. The sounds in the corridor changed from anxious to panicked. From panic to roaring. No, you can't close the door. I'm only 1 minute short. 1 minute? What right do you have to? Jean and Ian's voice pierced through the door. I want to file a complaint. This is unfair. Then came the sound of banging on the door. Bang, bang, bang. So urgent. And so serious. I finished the 8th multiple. Choice question B. There were a total of 5 people from our class who came into classroom 302. Me, Lin Xiaodan, Zhang Xiao, and 2 others who ran fast. The other 32 people were outside the door. Lin Xiaodan's hand was trembling. She gripped the pen so hard her knuckles turned white, but she couldn't write a single word. Her lips were moving, but no sound came out. I tapped her elbow with the barrel of my pen. She turned around abruptly. Her eyes rempredig schoten. Do the problem. My lips moved. Soundlessly. She sniffled, lowered her head. Start writing. The sounds outside the door gradually faded away. In their place came crying from farther away. Intermittent, as if someone had covered the mouth. I am writing question 9. The sunlight outside the window was very bright. The June heat squeezed in through the window crack, that hadn't been shut tightly, stifling, and carrying the scorched smell of the plastic track on the playground. It was very quiet, so quiet it felt like another world. At 11:30, the bell rang to signal the end of the exam. I checked the answer sheet twice, and hadn't missed filling in any bubbles. I stood up and lined up to hand in my paper. When I walked out of the exam room, the hallway was empty. On the floor lay half of a sneaker left behind by who knows who. A crumpled exam admission ticket had been tossed onto the windowsill. I glanced at the name on it, Wang Zihun, student number 38. I picked it up and placed it in a conspicuous spot on the windowsill. Then I went sight. I turned on my phone. The moment it powered on, messages flooded in like a deluge. Someone created a new group, grade 12, class 6, and added me back in. The group was already blowing up. Joan Yinru sent a long message, and I glanced over it. Shinzi left the group last night. She must have known she would be late all along. She deliberately didn't tell us. She ran off to take the exam by herself. Can someone like that even be considered human? Dozens of comments followed below. Yeah, I knew something was off. When she left the group, piece of __. Did she plan this all along? Shinzi, come out and speak. There are more than a dozen mentions of me. I looked at the screen, the corner of my mouth curling upward slightly. Here it comes. In my past life, you all said I broke up the team and harmed Joan Yenru. In this life, I didn't break you up. You all ended up completely wiped out yourselves. Guess what they're saying this time? Still my fault. I took screenshots of every single chat record, not missing a single one. Save cloud drive, email. Then I left the group. I bought a serving of liangpi from a roadside stall. Sat on a plastic stool to eat. I added vinegar. It was so sour it made me frown. The phone vibrated. I won't look at the group chat anymore. I'll see who sent me a private message. Wei Yanqing's voice message. 10 seconds. I pressed the phone close to my ear. His voice was low, slow, and brimming with suppressed anger. Shinzi, you'd better give me an explanation. 32 people didn't make it into the exam room. Because of you. Doesn't your conscience hurt? I picked the dried chili peppers out of the liangpi and placed them on the edge of the plate. Replied with text. I left the group and said I'm not going. You're adults. You're responsible for your own choices. The back of the admission ticket says you can't enter if you're more than 15 minutes late. Have you ever looked at it? Sent the screenshot. 30 seconds later, his reply came. Joan Yenru stood up for the benefit of the whole class. And if you weren't going, fine. But why didn't you even give us a heads up? You just stood there and watched us jump into the pit ourselves. What kind of friend are you? I stared at the 4 words. The benefit of the whole class. She did it to avoid getting punished herself. You can't even see that. I didn't reply a screenshot. Save. He finished the liangpi, wiped his mouth, and threw away the bowl. There was no exam in the afternoon. He planned to go home and take a nap. Halfway there, Lin Xiaoying's message came in. It wasn't text, but a screenshot. I clicked to open it. The livestream screen. Zhou Nianru's face filled the entire screen. Tears streaming down. Nose flushed red. Lips trembling. Livestream title. The entire class missed the college entrance exam. Because of one person's betrayal. Online viewers. 47,000. The barrage is densely packed. Which damn traitor exposed them? Such scum deserves to be socially shamed. Lin Xiaoying attached a message. Z, she didn't mention your name. But if even one person says it in the comments. You, I stared at that 47,000. In her previous life, Zhou Nianru had never done a live stream. In her previous life, she just cried in class. And that was enough. This time around, she leveled up. Or rather, she's just that good at it. Saved the screenshot. Dialed a number. Hello. I'd like to report a live stream room. The streamer is a minor, under 18, and is suspected of violating live stream regulations. The stream contains false information and incites viewers to dox and engage in cyberbullying against a specific individual. I have screenshot evidence and can provide the real identity information of the person involved. I wrote the report ticket number in my notes. The phone vibrated again. A text message came from an unknown number. You're Shinzi. Right. I'm Nianra's older sister. You know very well what you've done. Don't expect to take tomorrow's exam in peace. I took a screenshot of the message and saved it. I called Mom. Mom, if someone blocks me outside the exam center tomorrow morning, call the police for me in advance. Returning home, Mom was sitting in the living room with sliced watermelon arranged on the coffee table. Dad sat beside her, his phone clutched in his hand, the screen glowing. Sweetie, that classmate of yours started a live stream. Dad handed the phone over. The number of online viewers in Joe and I's live stream has risen to 90,000. She was still crying. It's even worse than before. She cried until she hiccuped, cried until someone handed her a tissue. In the camera shot, the room behind her, pink curtains, a row of study materials on the desk. The lighting was just right, and the composition was exquisite, crying so pitifully. Every word she said to the camera, I had heard some variation of in my previous life. I just wanted to stand up for everyone and get us a fair deal. I never thought I would miss the exam. There was one person who had already dropped out of our group last night. She said nothing, warned us of nothing. If she had told us we would be late, we wouldn't have gone. She just watched us walk in and went off to take the exam alone. The barrage went wild. The person who left the group was really ruthless. Please expose them. I'll help curse them out. Such people deserve to be socially ostracized. Were those few in the exam room in cahoots with her? I saw the last comment, and my eyelid twitched. Dad, help me call the police. Report what? Online harassment. Inciting a doxing search. Also, the person doing this live stream is a minor. Her ID says she was born in August 2006, and she's still 2 months short of 18. Not old enough for real name live streaming. Dad glanced at me. How do you remember her birthday? 3 years in the same class. He didn't ask any further. He picked up the phone and went into the study, closing the door. I took a slice of watermelon and sat on the sofa eating it. It was very sweet, the first crop of the year. Mom came over and sat down without saying anything, just sitting there. The phone lit up again on the coffee table. I glanced over. Lynn shouting, Z. Someone posted your name in the comments. 2 minutes later, they're searching your social media accounts. 5 minutes later, someone in the end's live stream said they found your school and class. 8 minutes later, someone posted the name of your residential community. I put down the watermelon and wiped the juice off my fingers. I picked up my phone, cleared all the personal information from all my social media accounts, changed my profile picture to the default gray one, deleted my signature, and set my photo album to private to Lin Xiaodong. Did you take a screenshot? Yes. Yes. I've been taking screenshots all along. Good. Send them all to me. A minute later, over a dozen screenshots flooded in. Someone posted my full name in the live stream's comment section. Someone shared my school. Someone posted my residential community and building number. The bottom comment, should we go block her at her doorstep? I take a deep breath. Not afraid. In my past life, those who actually came to block me did things 10,000 times more disgusting than this. I compiled the screenshots and forwarded them to my dad along with all the previous recordings, group chat screenshots, text message screenshots, and complaint ticket numbers made. Another phone call. Hello. 110. I want to report a case. Someone publicly leaked my home address on a live streaming platform and incited netizens to harass me offline. I have all the screenshots. The officer on duty took detailed notes. The call lasted 8 minutes. File the report receipt number in the memo. Put down the phone. The watermelon on the table had already gone lukewarm. Took another piece. Mom finally spoke up, her voice hoarse. Sweetie, can you still sleep? You have an exam tomorrow. Yes, I really can. That last sleep before death in my previous life was too long. So long that I never want to waste another second of my waking time losing sleep over people who aren't worth it. June 18th, the second day of the college entrance examination. The alarm clock is set for 5:30. I woke up at 5 o'clock. While washing my face, I looked at myself in the mirror. No dark circles under my eyes. I went to bed at 10 o'clock last night. Changed into my school uniform. Old phone fully charged. Slipped into my left chest pocket before heading out this time. I pressed the record button at the door. Dad stood in the entryway. He was wearing a formal shirt, which was rare. I'll see you off. No need. I'll take you there. There was no room for discussion in his tone. I didn't say anything more. We got in the car after leaving the residential area, and didn't speak the whole way. We arrived at the entrance of the 8th Middle School Test Center at 6:45. From a distance, something seemed off. A crowd had gathered at the school gate. They weren't parents. They were students wearing school uniforms. Our school's uniforms. 7 or 8 people. In the middle stood one person. Fu Yingqing. He stood by the flower bed to the left of the school gate, with both hands in his pockets. Hair unwashed. Dark circles under the eyes. Lips chapped. He looked like he hadn't slept all night. When he saw my dad's car, he straightened up. Dad, stop here. Daughter, stop here. Stay in the car. If anyone makes a move, dial 110. The car pulled over by the roadside. I got out of the car. The road leading to the school gate was 20 m long. Fu Yingqing stood right in the center. Zhenzhe. His voice was hoarse, like sandpaper scraping against an iron pipe. I didn't stop walking. Zhenzhe. He took a step forward, blocking my path directly. You did pretty well on the exam yesterday. Didn't you? All by yourself. Nice. And quiet. A few people nearby gathered around Lu Yang, Xin Siheng, and Wu Jiawei. All of them had missed the exam hall yesterday. Their eyes were all red, not from crying. It was a redness born from a sleepless night steeped in hatred. Move aside, I said. Why should I? Fu Yingqing took another step closer. I caught the stale, sour scent of sweat lingering on him from the night before. The college entrance exam for 32 people. 32 people. 0 points in Chinese. Do you know what that means? I know. It means you all have to repeat the year. It has nothing to do with me. Move aside. His eyes suddenly widened. The tendons in her face stood out one by one. Zhenzhe, when did you become this kind of person? What kind of person? A cold-blooded, selfish person, who stands by and does nothing when someone is in danger. I stopped in my tracks, looking at him. In my past life, you said I meddled too much and harmed Xiao Nianru. In this life, you said I stood by and watched people die, harming everyone. You scold me when I help, and you scold me when I don't. So, no matter what I do, you just want to scold me. Fu Yangqing. What? Did you look at the back of your admission ticket? He froze. It says that entry is prohibited 15 minutes after the exam starts. It's written in black and white. Did you read it? His expression changed. You chose to go to the Education Bureau with Zhou Nianru. No one forced you to go. I left the group chat and said I wouldn't participate. I had no obligation to stop you. You were late because you didn't keep track of time. Who's to blame? Not loud, but every word seemed to be hammered into his face. His hand pulled out of his pocket. He grabbed my right wrist. He has immense strength. The bones are being squeezed until they creak, the pain turning to numbness. Let go. He does not let go. Lu Yang rushed forward, grabbed my backpack strap, and said, Don't even think about going in to take the exam today. If nobody's taking it, you're not taking it either. My heart started racing. Not because I was scared. The old phone in my left chest pocket had its camera pointed forward, recording the whole time. Let go. I said it again. When I turned my head to look at the school gate, 2 police officers on duty were glancing over in this direction. I shouted, Police! Someone is blocking me from entering the exam hall. The voice sliced through the morning air. 2 police officers immediately run over. What's going on? Let go. No disturbances are allowed at the entrance of the exam site. Fu Yanqing's hand was pried open. Lu Yang was pushed aside by a hand pressing down on his shoulder, clutching my reddened wrist. I walked toward the school gate. Xinzi! Fu Yanqing shouted from behind. You can hide today, but you can't hide forever. I didn't look back. Enter the school gate. Security check. Go upstairs. Classroom 302. Sit down. Touch the left chest pocket. The old phone was slightly warm. Recorded for 11 minutes. Enough. After finishing the math exam, a light rain began to fall from the sky. The gray, Overcast sky washed the road outside the test center into deep and shallow puddles. Dad's car was still parked in the same spot. He got out of the car and came over holding an umbrella. "How did the exam go?" "Performed as usual." "How's your wrist?" I handed it over. 5 fingerprints were clearly visible. Bluish-purple, like punctuation marks pressed into the skin. Dad didn't say a word, took out his phone, and took 3 photos. Front view, side view, and a size comparison, with his own palm. On the way home, "Go to the hospital. It's necessary. There must be a medical examination report." I glanced at him. Good. Photos were taken at the hospital. The diagnosis written was soft tissue contusion of the right wrist. The seal was very clear. On the way home, Dad answered a phone call. It was from the police station. "Yesterday's report has made progress. The live stream platform has already taken down Zhou Nianru's live stream room, citing underage violations in live streaming plus suspected infringement of others' private information. The account that leaked my home address has also been banned." "Has the live stream screen recording been preserved on the platform side?" Dad asked. "It has been preserved," the police officer said. I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes. Returning home, I turned on the computer. I organized everything I had collected over the past 2 days into folders according to the timeline. Folder 1. Screenshots of the class group chat before leaving. Zhou Nianru's call to action. The collective response. And the records of pressure directed at me. Folder 2. Screenshots of private messages after leaving the group. Fu Yingqing, Jiang Xiu, and threatening texts from an unknown number. Folder 3. Call recording. Fu Yingqing's phone call lasting 4 minutes and 12 seconds in total. Folder 4. Live stream recording. Lon shouting health, record a segment, plus the complete version, saved on the platform. Folder 5. Screenshots of personal information leak. Address, phone number, and the first 6 digits of ID card. Folder 6. Video of conflict at the exam center entrance. All phone recording. 11-minute full version. Folder 7. Injury assessment report plus wrist photos. Folder 8. 2 copies of case filing receipts. Cyberbullying case plus information leak case. Folder 9. Threatening text messages from Zhou Niang or her sister. 9 folders. Every file inside is named, with timestamps accurate to the minute. I stared at the neatly arranged icons on the screen. In my previous life, I had no evidence at all, because I was busy making phone calls to save people, busy being a good person, busy taking responsibility for everyone's choices, busy until the day I died. My phone was wiped clean. They made me delete it. Delete it. Z, don't let this blow up. If you delete it, nothing will happen. I deleted it, and then he died. In this lifetime, I didn't do anything. I just recorded it, backed up everything. 1 copy to the cloud drive, 1 to email, 1 to a USB drive. Turned off the computer, picked up tomorrow's review materials. The last day covering science and English, opened the chemistry equations, and started reciting them from memory. 11 o'clock, the phone vibrated one last time. Unknown number. Text message. Shin Z. Will be waiting for you after the exam. Don't think this is over. Screenshot. Save to folder 2. Turn off the lights. Go to sleep. June 19th, the last day of the college entrance exam. The morning science comprehensive exam went very smoothly. No one was blocking me at the school gate. Probably because Dad had brought Mom along this time, and the 2 of them stood by the car like a pair of door gods. Or maybe it was because after being stopped by the police yesterday, Fu Yingqing and others had temporarily quieted down. English class in the afternoon. The last subject. When the bell rang to hand in the papers, I checked the listening section one more time and took a deep breath. It's over. When I walked out of the exam room, the sky had cleared. The setting sun turned the classroom building's windows a blazing orange red. The air was thick, with a strong fragrance of gardenias. Go downstairs, cross the playground, and head toward the school gate. Dad's car isn't there. I text him to come pick me up half an hour later, because I know today is the final challenge. During the college entrance examination period, there were police officers, security personnel, and surveillance cameras, but the college entrance examination ended. The police, withdrew, and the security personnel dispersed. I walked out of the school gate, turned right, and entered the alley next to it. In my previous life, they cornered me right in this alley. The alley was narrow, flanked by the back walls of residential buildings, with colorful clothes and sheets hanging overhead. I hadn't walked more than 20 m Shinzi. Ahead, Jo Nienru leaned against the wall. She wasn't wearing makeup. It was the first time I had seen her. Without it, her eyelids were swollen. There were 2 red scratch marks from fingernails on her cheekbones, and her lips were chapped all around. Looks like he hasn't slept for 3 days. Behind her stood 6 people. Fu Anqing, Liu Yang, In Xian, Wu Jiwei, Zhang Xiao, and a boy, whose name I couldn't recall. I stopped. His left hand naturally touched his chest. The old phone was on. I started recording. When I walked out of the school gate, Nienru, I said, "You're calling me Nienru." She gave a laugh of utter rage. "You still have the nerve to call me Nienru. What should I call you then?" Classmetio. Her eyes immediately reddened. But she didn't cry. She held it back. "Shinzi, do you have any idea how many people you've ruined?" "How many?" 32 0 points in Chinese. Do you know what 0 points in Chinese means? It means our total scores are directly reduced by over 100 points. It means no university will admit us. It means her voice grew louder and shriller, escalating into a scream by the end. 32 lives ruined by you. The echo bounced back. And forth in the alley, someone above pushed open a window and glanced down. I waited for her to finish shouting, finish speaking. She bit her lip. "Yodiendu, let me ask you a few questions. You first. Who is the one in the group chat calling on everyone to go to the Education Bureau?" Her lips moved, but no sound came out. "Second. Who is it that said, 'Meet at 7:30. We'll definitely be back before 9 o'clock. Plenty of time.'" Her eyes flickered. "Third. Who is it at the Education Bureau who got into an argument with someone and refused to leave, dragging things on until after 9 o'clock? I didn't expect fourth. Does the back of your admission ticket clearly state in black and white that no entry is allowed 15 minutes after the exam begins? That's fifth." I stared into her eyes. "Before I left the group, did anyone in the group ask, 'What if I'm late?'" Her face turned pale, because someone had asked. It was Lynn shouting. She sent a message in the group chat. "What if I can't make it back in time?" Zhou Nianren's reply at the time was, "Don't worry, it will be in time. I figured it out. Everyone remembers. Someone warned you." I said, word by word. Your reply was, "There's still time." I really thought at the time. You also said one more thing. "Whoever doesn't come is a traitor." The alley fell silent for a second. Fu Yingjing suddenly stepped forward. "Don't underscore argue. With me here. You knew damn well you'd be late. You left the group chat because you knew it. You did it on purpose." "I left the group chat because I didn't want to take part in an activity that might make me late. Isn't that everyone's right?" "You, Fu Yingjing, yesterday outside the exam site, you grabbed my wrist and left a bruise. I have a medical report. Do you know what that's called?" His expression changed. "Intentional injury. You let go, and you blocked me from entering the exam room right in front of the 2 on-duty police officers. That's called obstructing a citizen from legally taking a national examination." Lu Ying's voice shot out from behind. "What about you? You stood by and did nothing. The legal premise for not rescuing someone in danger is that the other party is in a dangerous situation, and you have a legal duty to help." I turned to him. "You're not drowning. You chose to be late together. I have no obligation to keep time for you." The alley fell completely silent. Zhou Nianren's body was trembling. "Zhenzhe, you've changed. You weren't like this before." I look at her. "You're right. I've changed. I used to be someone who worried about each and every one of you. How did you treat me?" They didn't know about the previous life, but I know. From today on, don't interfere with my affairs, and I won't interfere with yours. We owe each other nothing." I turned and walked toward the end of the alley. "Stop right there." Zhou Nianren's voice chased after me from behind. "Do you think leaving will settle everything? Do you think there's no price to pay?" I didn't look back. "I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done. Just wait and see. Out of the alley. The setting sun hit my face, stinging my eyes. Dad's car was parked right by the roadside. I opened the car door, got in, and closed it. How is it? Dad asked. I got it. I took out the old phone. It was still recording on the screen, duration 000917. Dad drove the car away. I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes. 9 folders plus today's segment. That makes 10. A hand resting on the chest. The old phone pressing into the palm. Slightly warm. About the same temperature as a heartbeat. The third date detonated from several directions at once. 9 o'clock in the morning. Dad took me to the police station. The contents of the 10 folders on the USB drive were displayed from beginning to end. The officer on duty called in the station chief. The director called in the cybersecurity team. They reviewed Joe Nyang's live stream recording. They examined the screenshot that leaked my address. They looked at the threatening text messages. Watched the video of Fu Yingxing grabbing my wrist at the exam center entrance. Watched the 9-minute recording from the alley. The cybersecurity officer took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. The live streaming platform's leak of citizens' personal information is sufficient grounds for filing a case. The evidence for intentional injury in that section of the test site is also solid. The station chief turned to look at me. Mississippi, would you like to give a statement? After finishing the statement, it was 11 o'clock, 2 p.m. The police station sent summons notices to Joe Nyang's family and Fu Yingxing's family. I wasn't there. Dad went. He told me what happened later. Joe Nyang came with her mother, wearing a floral dress and high heels, barged in and shouted as soon as she came through the door. My daughter is only 17. What right do you, the police, played the live stream recording for her to see? When it got to the part where someone in the comments had posted my home address, her mother's voice grew quieter. By the time it reached the part where the threatening text message had been sent from her home landline number, her mother was completely silent. Joan Yayan-Ru sat in the chair and didn't say a word from beginning to end. Both hands clenched the hem of the skirt on her lap, knuckles turning white. The police officer asked her, was the act of revealing someone else's address during the live stream done by you personally? Or did someone help you? Don't speak. During the live stream, you guided netizens to dox and launch personal attacks against others. Do you admit it? She suddenly leapt up. Tears welled up instantly. I didn't. I just wanted everyone to know the truth. She was the one who harmed us. What is the truth you're talking about? The police officer said, flipping open my evidence file. Here we have the complete group chat records, group leaving records, and private message records, showing that Shinzi clearly withdrew and stated she would not participate the day before the event in the group. Some classmates once questioned whether someone might be late, and your reply was, the police officer read it aloud, don't worry. There's still time. I've calculated it. Joan Yayan-Ru's lips were trembling. Was this sent by you? Yes, but I really thought there was enough time. What obligation does Shinzi have to take responsibility for your misjudgment? She opened her mouth, made no sound. Her mother turned to look at her daughter, her expression changing layer by layer. You told me it was that classmate who harmed you. You told me she deliberately didn't warn you. Why didn't you show me these group chat records? Joan Yayan-Ru's lips trembled slightly, and tears patted onto her knees. Mom, you told me you were wronged, and asked me to call and threaten them for you. That text message was sent from the home landline. Joan Yayan-Ru, you killed Mom. Her mother grabbed Joan Yayan-Ru's arm and yanked her up from the chair. She couldn't stand steady. Her knee hit the corner of the table, and she bent over in pain. I didn't. Mom, I really didn't mean to harm anyone. Her voice shattered into pieces like the sound of a vase smashing on the floor one piece at a time. If Wei Yingxing arrived half an hour later than she, brought by his dad, his father was a middle-aged man with a square face, and there were still wet coffee stains on his shirt after. Entering, he first shook hands with the police officer. Sorry to trouble you, officer. The child doesn't know any better. The police officer played the video from the entrance of the exam site once. The motion of Fu Yingxing gripping my wrist in the frame was very clear. Then the injury report was handed over. Right wrist soft tissue contusion. The involved party has given a statement. Fu Yingqing's father's face went from a polite smile to a livid green. Slowly turned his head to look at his son. Did you do it? Fu Yingqing sat in the chair, his head lowered and his shoulders hunched. He was like a completely different person from the one who had been shouting in the alley yesterday. You grabbed the girl's hand. You blocked her and wouldn't let her take the exam. His father raised his hand to slap him, but the police officer stopped him. Parents, calm down. Fu Yingqing huddled in the chair, arms crossed over his chest, head buried between his knees. The police officer played the 9-minute video from the alley again. Everyone in the room heard every word he said. You ruined the lives of 32 people. Stop, arguing here. Just you wait. The video finished playing. His father stood there motionless. Fu Yingqing. The police officer flipped through the file. Your actions are suspected of intentional injury and threats and intimidation. Your date of birth, March 2006. You are already over 18, so this will be handled according to adult standards. Fu Yingqing suddenly raised his head. The color drained completely from his face. His father's hand hung at his side, clenched into a fist, knuckles cracking. No one said a word for him. The next 2 weeks felt like a prolonged collapse. I learned the rest of it gradually from Lin Xiaobing's messages. The first to fall was Zhou Nianru, with the cyberbullying case. Because the evidence was so complete, and the platform cooperated quickly, had all of Zhou Nianru's real name information, live stream operation records, and the private messages that had guided the doxing all retrieved. The police station gave 2 options: 5 days of administrative detention or 20 days of community correction, plus a public apology. Her mother chose the latter. A public apology was recorded on video. I didn't look. Lin Xiaobing looked, and saw that Zhou Nianru kept her head down the entire time reading from the script. Her voice, so soft it was almost inaudible. It took her 10 seconds just to get out the 3 words, I'm sorry. Her mother stood beside her, the corners of her mouth pulled downward, her eyes deadly. But that wasn't the cruelest part. The cruelest part was when the college entrance exam results came out. Missed the Chinese exam. 0 points, no matter what score she got in math, English, and comprehensive science. Once the total score came out, no university could admit her. It wasn't because her score wasn't high enough. It was because her exam record had an extra line of notation. The candidate did not take the Chinese language exam. Repeating the year is fine. Coming back next year is fine. But this note will follow her student record. Any high school that accepts repeat students will see this line. Then they will search for her name. Then they will find that live stream recording. The platform deleted it, but the internet has a memory. Then there is no then. Lin Xiaobing said that Zhou Nianru had locked herself in her room for 6 days and never came out. On the 7th day, her mother pried the door open. She sat on the bed tearing every textbook from her 3 years of high school page by page into scraps until the entire bed and the whole floor were covered. She tore them very slowly page by page. Even the cover was not spared. By the time she tore through the last book, the pads of her fingers had been rubbed raw and bleeding, and the blood smeared across the pages in streaks. When she saw her mother come in, she looked up and gave a small smile. Mom, I'll make it in time. I figured it out. Her mother's legs gave out on the spot, and she sat down on the ground. The second person to collapse was Fu Yingqing. A case was filed for intentional injury. The injuries were not serious, but there was video evidence, an injury examination report, and testimony from 2 on-duty police officers. 10 days of administrative detention. 10 days. He spent a full 10 days in the detention center. He came out looking much thinner, his cheekbones jutting out like razor blades. His father waited for him at the door, said nothing, and drove him away later. Fu Yingqing wanted to repeat the year. The school said it could accept him, but his administrative detention record has already been entered into the public security system political review. Becoming a police officer not possible. Taking the civil service exam not possible. Joining the army not allowed. Special admissions to some top universities require a certificate of no criminal record. Not allowed. From the age of 18. Half the doors in his life had been welded shut. Lin Xiaobing said that after he came out. He looked for Zhang Xiu and the two of them drank a case of beer. Drank until he threw up. After throwing up, he lay on the table and said one sentence. She was right. It was written on the back of the admission ticket. I never turned it over. Zhang Xiu did not respond, because he hadn't flipped through it either. Among the 32 people, 5 parents jointly approached the school. They claimed the school had failed to fulfill its duty to remind them. The school pulled up the sign-in sheets and PowerPoint from the pre-exam themed class meeting. Page 4. In bold red letters. Entry is prohibited 15 minutes after the exam begins. Be sure to arrive at the test center early. All 37 names on the sign-in sheet were signed. 5 parents took copies of the sign-in sheet home. They never came back again. The remaining 20-odd people each had their own silence. Some repeated a year and changed schools, starting over, with the label of late for the college entrance exam on their backs. Some went to vocational school and never mentioned the past. Some stayed at home and did nothing at all. Some of them moved away. Their lives were torn in two. Before the college entrance examination, it was one kind of life. After the exam, another. And I was not the one at the point of rupture. It was never me. It's themselves. June 25th. The college entrance exam results were released. I sat at my desk. The score check page is on the computer screen. Enter the admission ticket number, ID number, and verification code. The mouse hovers over search. His finger paused for a second. In my previous life, I never had this moment. In my previous life, after the college entrance exam came endless bullying. No scores, no admission, no university, only a bottle of sleeping pills. 37 of them. I clicked on it. The page loaded for 2 seconds. Chinese, 127 math, 139 English, 143 is science, 261 total score. 670. I stared at these numbers for a long time, leaning back against the chair. I tilted my head up to look at the ceiling. That L-shaped crack was still there, but this time I didn't need to stare at it the whole time anymore. Mom poked her head in at the doorway. How many points? I turned the screen around. She froze for a second, covered her mouth. Her nose stung, and tears welled up in her eyes. Your dad. Come quick. Dad came rushing out of the kitchen, still wearing his apron. He glanced at the screen. He took a deep breath, reached out, and rubbed my hair. With great force. His palm was a little shaky. Good. Just this one word. My phone vibrated. Lynn shouting. Z, I got 583. I can get into a top-tier university. I replied, with 3 words. Congratulations. She sent another message. Thank you for your message that day. Really, if you hadn't told me to figure out the timing myself, I might not have come back either. I looked at the message for a few seconds. Reply. You came back because you made your own choice. It had nothing to do with me. After sending it, I put the phone on the table, got up, and walked to the window, pushed the window open. The July sunlight was scorching. There was a child downstairs riding a bicycle, and the wheels rolled through a puddle, splashing up a stream of water droplets. In the distance, someone was playing the music for broadcast calisthenics. The cicadas were chirping fiercely. I thought I would never hear those voices again in my previous life. The hot wind blew in, carrying the smell of youtiao from the breakfast shop downstairs, and the earthy scent of wet soil after the rain. The college application handbook was spread out on the desk. I had already made my choice. The university farthest from the city. Not because I was running away, because I deserve a brand new beginning. A place where no one would call me a traitor. A place where no one uses you should to hold me hostage. A place where I only need to live for myself. Close the window. Sit back down at the desk. Write the school code in the first column of the application form. The pen tip touched the paper, making a rustling sound very softly. But this time, every word was written for myself. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see my sister, who was born with body odor, bound me to a body fragrance transfer system. The first thing I did after being reborn was to secretly give the perfume my sister gave me to my uncle, who hadn't bathed in 20 years in my previous life. Every time I sprayed the perfume, I would become unbearably smelly, while my sister grew increasingly fragrant, and eventually married into a wealthy family, becoming a rich wife. Because of my pervasive body odor, I was looked down upon wherever I went. My parents called me a stinky fish from the sewer and kicked me out of the house. My colleagues said I polluted the air and pressured the boss to fire me. With no way out, my sister tied me up in the basement and tortured me until I was driven to despair, and ended my life by crashing my head against the wall. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day my sister gave me the perfume. "Molly, you smell so good," always exuding a faint youthful aura. "This perfume was specially chosen for you. It really matches your vibe. Go ahead and give it a try." Sister Cindy handed me a bottle of specially made perfume. Her eyes filled with anticipation, looking at the scene before me. I realized I had been reborn. I had returned to the day my sister gave me the perfume. Previous life. My sister, who was born with body odor, was always obsessed with buying various perfumes in an attempt to mask her strong scent. "How bad does it smell?" "It's so bad that, within 3 m, no mosquitoes or flies dare to come near." So, when my sister noticed the faint fragrance emanating from me, she started plotting against me. She then gave me a bottle of specially made perfume and instructed me to spray it on myself every day. Gradually, I noticed that I had developed body odor, and the smell was getting stronger and stronger. The colleague sitting next to me wears a mask to work every day, and at the worst of times, they even wear an N95 mask. The colleague, who usually doesn't get along with me, even started wearing a gas mask to mock me. But my sister, on the other hand, was glowing and had completely transformed. Not only did her body odor disappear, but she also became increasingly fragrant, attracting the obsessive pursuit of a wealthy second-generation heir. In the end, she married into a rich family and became a wealthy lady. As for me, I became a despised pest, not only losing my job, but also being kicked out of the house by my parents. After learning that my sister had bound me to the body fragrance transfer system, I begged her in tears to release the binding, but she, afraid that I would reveal the truth, had me kidnapped and locked in the basement, forcing me to wear perfume every day. Later, unable to endure such torment, I desperately ended my life by crashing into the basement wall. "Molly, look how good your sister is to you. She always thinks of giving you the best. If you ever make something of yourself, don't forget how kind she has been to you." Dad slowly took out a cigarette, lit it with a smile, and said to me, "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and give it a try." Mom also gently patted my shoulder and said softly to me. After snapping back to reality, I took the perfume with a smile and said happily, "Thank you, sis. I really like the perfume, but I can't bear to use it carelessly. I want to spray it after I shower, so it'll be even more fragrant." After saying that, I hugged the perfume like a precious treasure and ran back to my room. Seeing that I stayed in my room for a long time without coming out, Cindy was knocking on my door with some urgency. "Molly, why haven't you gone to take a shower yet?" Just like in the previous life, she couldn't wait to verify the effects of the body fragrance transfer system, and the specially formulated perfume was the trigger. I ignored her and slowly changed into my workout after secretly placing the perfume in my sports bag. I calmly opened the door and responded, "I haven't exercised in a while. I want to go for a run and come back to shower." It was already 9 p.m. and the weather was gradually getting cooler. Dad said, with a worried expression, "It's so late. Isn't it unsafe for a girl to go out running alone? How about I go with you?" I quickly waved my hand and refused. "No need. I've gained some weight recently, and I want to run to lose it. You guys should hurry up and wash up to sleep." Cindy, seeing this, grabbed her dad's hand and persuaded him. "Dad, what are you worried about? There are surveillance cameras on every road now. It's very safe. Besides, Molly has seemed to gain a bit of weight recently. Exercising more to lose weight and sweat a little would be good for her." Only then did Dad agree, reminding me to come back early. Seeing the mischievous glint in Cindy's eyes, I knew she was certain I would take a shower after sweating from running. After all, I had mentioned that I would only use this perfume sparingly after taking a bath. After going out, I immediately found a secondhand shop and asked the owner if they had this particular perfume. The shop owner picked up the perfume, sniffed it repeatedly, and then said, with a puzzled expression, "This perfume bottle is quite common, similar to Chanel's, and the scent is also very familiar. The top and middle notes are floral and fruity, but the base note, although it resembles musk and cedarwood, upon closer inspection, contains something I've never smelled before." Hearing this, I became even more certain that there was something fishy about this perfume. So, I took out $5,000 and asked the shop owner to create a perfume with a similar scent for me on the spot. An hour later, the boss's wife successfully replicated it, although the scent wasn't exactly 100% the same. It was convincing enough to pass as the real thing. At that moment, Cindy sent me a voice message urging me to hurry home. From her anxious tone, it seemed as if she couldn't wait to absorb every bit of the fragrance from me. Looking at the genuine perfume in my bag, I now had a brilliant plan for revenge. Since she was so eager to become the center of attention, I had to let her taste the bitter consequences of her own actions. Although the stench of body odor is overwhelmingly foul, how does it compare to someone who hasn't bathed in 20 years? I curled my lips, bought 2 boxes of mooncakes at a roadside store, and then took a taxi to my uncle's house. Uncle Bob is 46 years old this year, and still a bachelor, because he hasn't bathed for a long time. His body is covered in lice, and for the past 2 years, no relatives have been willing to associate with him seeing me bring 2 boxes of mooncakes to visit him. Uncle Bob quickly greeted me with a smile. "Oh, Molly, you're the only one who's truly filial. Unlike the others, they're all ungrateful wretches. Back in your parents' day, who didn't work at my family's factory. It's just a shame that after the factory closed down, they all turned their backs and pretended not to know me. Among all these younger folks, you're the only one with a bit of conscience, always buying me food and daily necessities online from time to time." Looking at his yellowed teeth, the lice jumping around on his head, and the stench of decay emanating from his entire body, I was still shocked by the state my uncle was in. The power of not bathing for 20 years truly defied my imagination. After all, this was much worse than the body odor on Cindy. I had definitely found the right person. Thinking of this, I suppressed the disgust in my heart, held my breath, and said loudly, "Uncle, my sister is also thinking of you all the time. Both of us remember when we were kids and used to play at your factory, and you often bought us candy. She couldn't make it recently because she's busy, but she's been concerned about your lifelong matters. That's why she asked me to give you this bottle of perfume. She said that after spraying it, it can cover up any body odor, no matter how long you go, without showering, and women will even come to you on their own." After saying that, I placed the perfume on the table. Uncle was taken aback at first, then burst into hearty laughter. "That girl still has a bit of a conscience. Actually, I've long heard that perfume can cover up body odor, but I always thought that was something women did. Why would a man like me need to bother with such things?" But after being single for so many years, I have to admit that not every woman can handle my rugged masculinity. It's about time I used some tricks to make women fall for me. I nodded and immediately flattered him. "Exactly, Uncle. You're still very charming, except for the slight odor. You're excellent in every other way. Remember to spray this perfume generously. Women are bound to fall for you. My sister said you can use it freely. Don't worry about wasting it. If it runs out, she'll just send me to bring you more." Before Uncle could respond, I immediately closed the door and ran out, standing in the hallway, breathing in the fresh air frantically. You know, there's a smell in this hallway, too. My uncle's power is truly immense. The neighbors next door have even sealed the gaps in their front doors with weather stripping. It wasn't until I reached the ground floor of the residential complex that I finally breathed in the fresh, fragrant air in deep, satisfying gulps. It was already 11 p.m. when I got home. My parents had already showered and gone to bed. Seeing me walk in, drenched in sweat and panting heavily, Cindy quickly handed me a towel and said thoughtfully, "Molly, quickly wipe off your sweat so you don't catch a cold. Look at how much you've been sweating. Go take a shower, and remember to try the perfume I gave you." I've already adjusted the hot water for you. And I've prepared your toiletries. And pajamas. You can just go ahead and take a shower. Seeing the urgency in her eyes, I knew she had been waiting all night just for this moment to see the results. To avoid letting her notice my strangeness, I held her hand and deliberately acted coquettishly, saying, as expected of my good sister, "You're so good to me. I'll go take a shower right now." After saying that, I took the perfume and walked into the bathroom with an excited expression. After fiddling around in the bathroom for 20 minutes, not only did I not take a shower, but I also rubbed the stinky socks I had stolen from my uncle's house, which were already crusted over, onto my pajamas. After catching a whiff of a nauseating sour stench, only then did I open the bathroom door. With satisfaction, the moment the door opened, Cindy eagerly sniffed at me. I saw something churning in her throat as if about to surge up, but then she immediately swallowed it back down. Seeing that her deceitful plan had succeeded, Cindy took my hand and praised me. "Molly, you smell so wonderful. This perfume seems tailor-made for you. It smells even sweeter and more delightful. I really envy you. You must remember to spray more after every shower so more people will like you." I patted her arm to comfort her. "Sister, one day you will become fragrant, too." Upon hearing this, Cindy ran off to bed contentedly. Early the next morning, Cindy came to my room specifically to see if the smell on me was still there after a night had passed. I stretched, hid the smelly sock, got up from under the covers, and rubbed my eyes saying, "Sis, why are you coming to my room so early in the morning?" The moment I lifted the covers, my sister immediately covered her nose and took a step back. Then, a slight smile quickly curled at the corner of her mouth. Soon, her expression returned to calm as she probed me. "Nothing. I just wanted to ask what you'd like for breakfast. I'll make it for you. But, Molly, have you noticed that your scent is a bit different today?" I froze for a few seconds. Then he pulled up his sleeve, sniffed, and shook his head saying, "No, I don't notice anything different. Isn't it still the same smell on me? If there's any difference, I think it might be because I sprayed the perfume you gave me, making it even more fragrant." After saying this, he grinned and laughed heartily, seeing that I didn't suspect anything. Cindy breathed a sigh of relief. She quickly got up and went to the kitchen to busy herself. I was wide awake, so I got up and went to the bathroom. While everyone thought I was using the toilet, I took out that smelly sock and wiped it around the sink over and over again until I confirmed the entire bathroom was filled with a sour smell. I finally opened the door and walked out. By then, my father had already been waiting outside for a few minutes. As soon as he saw me come out, he rushed into the bathroom in a flash. Then, covering his nose, he ran out cursing and grumbling. "Damn, why does the bathroom smell like dead fish? It's so disgusting. Did someone's toilet get clogged? The smell is even coming into our house." Hearing this, Mom muttered to herself and quickly walked toward the bathroom. "That can't be. I just cleaned the bathroom this morning and didn't notice any smell." But the next second, she also covered her nose and ran out of the bathroom. Seeing the two of them sitting at the table, angrily about to call the property management, Cindy immediately stopped them and said, "Mom, Dad, don't bother the property management over such a small matter. I just checked, and it might be Molly's socks that weren't washed. Didn't she go for a run yesterday? Those socks must be full of sweat odor. You can use the bathroom in my room. It's filled with the scent of perfume, so you probably won't smell any body odor." After saying that, she took out a bottle of perfume from her room and sprayed it all around. It seems Cindy is even more anxious than I am, afraid that others might notice the odor gradually developing on me. That's right. The body odor transfer system has just started to take effect, and Cindy definitely doesn't want me to realize that I'm starting to smell. I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want her to notice that she smelled even worse. This works out well, so I don't have to go through the trouble of explaining it to my parents. So, I went along with what she said. "It seems like it's the smell from my socks. I'll go wash them in the bathroom right away." Mom scolded, with a look of disgust. "Molly, you're already an adult. How can you still be so careless about cleanliness? Can't you learn from your sister? She always keeps herself neat and tidy every day. Hearing this, my heart still trembled violently, although I had been reborn. I knew that in my previous life, my parents had kicked me out of the house because of the foul odor all over my body. But when I saw her treating others differently, I couldn't help but feel sad. My sister has had body odor since she was born, while I have a faint natural fragrance. Mom has always felt guilty, believing she didn't give my sister a healthy body. Since childhood, my sister has always had the large master bedroom, with its own private bathroom, while I could only squeeze into the small secondary bedroom. With my parents, no matter how bad my sister smelled, my parents never disliked her. Instead, they spoiled her excessively. As for me, when I also developed body odor, they not only showed no sympathy, but even kicked me out of the house. At that thought, my heart instantly sank into an icy abyss. After returning to the company, I took a week off citing health issues. When Cindy got home, I looked at her with a pitiful expression and complained, "Sis, I don't know what happened, but as soon as I got to work today, all my colleagues were looking at me strangely. My girlfriends, who usually eat with me, all made excuses about having stomach aches and didn't join me today. Even during meetings, everyone kept their distance from me, and some even covered their noses and mouths. Well, I don't know what I did wrong to make everyone suddenly dislike me so much. Even our boss forced me to take personal leave and told me to stay home for a week instead of coming to the office. After saying that, I secretly pinched my thigh hard and burst into tears with excitement, seeing me cry until I was out of breath. The smile in Cindy's eyes grew even more pronounced. Then she patted my arm and comforted me, saying, "Molly, I think your colleagues might be jealous of you. Look at you. You're so beautiful and even have a natural fragrance. Honestly, what girl wouldn't be envious? Don't pay any attention to them. Just keep being yourself. Never let others' attitudes make you doubt your worth. The more they treat you this way, the more you should wear the perfume I gave you just to annoy them." I blinked my eyes and asked, with an innocent expression, "But the male colleagues treat me this way, too. Could they also be jealous of me?" Cindy was stunned. After snapping out of it, she started talking nonsense. "Who said men can't be jealous? The men in your company are all losers. They probably feel they don't deserve you, and are deliberately trying to disgust you. Haven't you heard the saying? If you can't have something, you destroy it. That's exactly the mindset of those poor losers. It's just pure jealousy acting up. This is really hilarious." Cindy's ability to make up stories is truly impressive. If I hadn't been reborn, I probably would have been completely fooled by her. I obediently nodded in agreement. "Sister, you're right. I also think they're just jealous of me." Then I changed the subject and asked, "Sister, you seem to be in a very good mood lately. Is the bun shop business doing well?" Cindy proudly held up 5 fingers toward me. "Business has been exceptionally good lately. I sold $5,000 worth just today." After saying that, she confidently brushed her bangs aside. "Let me tell you a secret. There's a handsome guy who has been coming to my stall for the past 2 or 3 days, buying hundreds of buns each time. I can't help but wonder how he could possibly finish them all. Strangely, every time after buying the buns, he never rushed off. Instead, he would chat with me for a while, and even gave me the nickname Bun Beauty." I pretended to be surprised and slapped my leg, saying, "Sis, do you think that handsome guy might have a crush on you? I bet his next move will be to ask for your contact info and invite you out." Cindy nudged my arm, looking shy, and said, "Don't talk nonsense. Because of this body odor, no boy has ever liked me since I was little. There's no way he would be interested in me." I leaned in and sniffed her, then comforted her. "Sis, I've noticed lately that your body odor has faded a lot. It's almost to the point where I can't smell it anymore. It must be because you're kind-hearted and have done so many good deeds that the body odor is slowly disappearing." Hearing this, Cindy's face immediately lit up. With joy, she became even more convinced that the body fragrance from me had transferred to her. Cindy grew increasingly confident. The next day, she mysteriously said to me, "Molly, you're absolutely right. That handsome guy came again today, And he insisted on adding me on WeChat to ask if I was free to go watch a movie. I checked his social media, and all he posts are luxury cars and villas. Could he actually be a super rich second generation? I pretended to be stunned. Then I grabbed her hand and said excitedly, "Oh my God, sister, you're so lucky. If you two get together, you'll definitely become a wealthy lady in the future. Sis, if you make it big, don't forget about me, your little sister." Cindy immediately patted her chest and promised, "That's for sure. You're my own sister. Who else would I treat well if not you? When I marry into a wealthy family someday, you'll be my most beloved little princess. I'll buy you so many clothes and bags." Watching her say these insincere words, without even blushing, a cold wind blew behind me, sending chills down my spine. Previous life. After Cindy used the body fragrance transfer system to steal my scent, she met the real rich heir, Kevin Franklin. He was just passing by the steamed bun shop when he was captivated by the fragrance emanating from her. So, he started coming every day to buy steamed buns, using the opportunity to strike up conversations with her. First, he added her on WeChat, then asked her out to the movies, followed by organizing a grand birthday banquet for her, and finally proposed to her at the banquet. Just like that, Cindy gradually married into a wealthy family, instantly becoming a rich wife and achieving a leap in social class. But after she became the wealthy dowager, not only did she not help me, she locked me in the basement and tortured me. This is the true face of my own sister, who pretended to love me so much in front of others and behind their backs. So, in this life, I simply hired an actor, George, to play the role of a rich second generation. I just had him reenact all the experiences from the previous life for her. I want to make Cindy fall from the altar to hell at the peak of her life. In my previous life, I couldn't figure it out until the day I died. How could Kevin Franklin, the eldest son of the Franklin Group, fall for my sister, a woman with average looks and only a vocational school education? Could it really be the magic of this body fragrance? To test my hypothesis, I crouched on Kevin Franklin's route too, and from work, I deliberately took the opportunity to bump into him while holding a cup of coffee. If the coffee spilled on his custom-made suit, I frantically grabbed tissues to wipe it off, repeatedly apologizing. Kevin Franklin's assistant immediately scolded, "Are you blind? This suit is worth $100,000. How do you plan to compensate for it?" I was so frightened I was about to cry, and could only keep apologizing. "I'm really sorry. It wasn't intentional. How about you take off the suit and let me take it home to wash?" The assistant was amused by my words and gave me a disdainful look, sneering, "Take it to your place to wash. Are you going to hand wash it or use that $500 washing machine of yours? If it gets ruined, can you even afford to pay for it?" Seeing me sobbing uncontrollably, Kevin Franklin suddenly handed me a piece of paper and said softly, "My assistant was just joking with you. Don't be afraid, and you don't have to wash this suit." I looked up and happened to meet his eyes. The moment our eyes met, I saw sparks in Kevin Franklin's eyes. The assistant, still unaware of the situation, reached out to snatch the coffee from my hand, intending to splash it on my head to embarrass me. But in the next second, Kevin Franklin took it away from him. Kevin Franklin scolded him loudly. "What are you trying to do? Apologize to this lady right now." The assistant was stunned. He never expected that the usually selfish and indifferent President Franklin would forgive me so easily. In the past, he would have definitely made the other person kneel and apologize, but seeing Kevin Franklin's furrowed brows, as if he was genuinely angry, the assistant had no choice but to bow deeply to me. And naturally, I had to play the part of an innocent little white rabbit, so I just bit my lip tightly and stared at Kevin Franklin, without saying a word. At that moment, Kevin Franklin could no longer hold back. He wrapped his arms around my neck as if possessed, and tried to kiss me. A sharp slap echoed. I raised my arm and slapped him, then ran away crying. Only Kevin Franklin was left standing there in a daze. A few seconds later, I heard that familiar domineering CEO line, "You have 10 minutes to get me all the information on this woman, or you're fired." Beads of sweat formed on the assistant's forehead. I hid in the corner, secretly laughing to myself. It turns out that what Kevin Franklin liked was never Cindy herself, but the scent on my body. This was the fragrance that drove him wild, with obsession. Otherwise, with Kevin Franklin's status, he would never have fallen in love with a woman who sold steamed buns in his previous life. It only took one day. Kevin Franklin had all my information. After adding me on WeChat, he started frequently asking me out for meals and movies. At the same time, Cindy was also getting closer to the fake rich second generation, George. Soon it was the week before her birthday. Cindy sent a message in the family group chat. At everyone, it's my 30th birthday in a week. My boyfriend has reserved a luxurious dinner for me at the X International Hotel. I hope all my relatives and friends can make time to attend. Instantly, the group chat became lively, second and immediately flattered. Oh, the Fragrant Princess Grand Hotel is a 5-star hotel. I heard a single table of dishes costs over $10,000. Cindy, you're really something finding such a wealthy boyfriend. Then, Uncle also chimed in. Don't worry, no matter how busy I am, I'll definitely come to celebrate my niece's birthday. Uncle wishes you an early happy birthday. My cousin, who married far away, said, with envy in her tone. Cindy, you're really lucky. I'm so envious that you found a rich second generation. You're going to live a life of ease from now on. Unlike me, who has such a hard life. Watching everyone in the group shower her with praise one after another, I remembered how in my previous life, relatives and friends mocked and insulted her because of her body odor. It feels so ironic at this moment. On my sister's birthday, I brought Kevin Franklin along to the dinner party. Kevin Franklin insisted on paying to book the entire venue, saying it was to leave a good impression on my family. Great, I can save this money then. But I told him not to let Cindy know so as not to hurt her boyfriend's pride. Kevin Franklin nodded obediently. The banquet began. Cindy walked out from the center of the stage wearing a pure white dress. She lifted the hem of her skirt and began twirling in the center of the stage to the music. At first, the audience erupted in warm applause, and everyone kept praising. It's been years since we last saw Cindy, and she's become even more beautiful. Yeah, she has such a great aura. No wonder her boyfriend likes her so much. She's really changed a lot, even though she's already 30. But gradually, one by one, they suddenly began to frown. First, my eldest aunt suddenly vomited. Then my cousin vomited. Next, my grandmother vomited. After that, my aunt, third uncle, cousin's wife, cousin, nephew, niece, and others all vomited. Only Uncle Bob, sitting in the corner, was enjoying himself, happily picking up dishes to eat. Kevin Franklin could no longer hold back. Covering his nose, he rushed out, but before he even the restroom, he vomited all over the floor. Seeing the relatives and friends present vomiting one after another, collapsing in disarray, Cindy leaped nervous, then loudly questioned the hotel manager. What kind of lousy hotel is this? My boyfriend spent so much money to eat here, and you actually serve us spoiled food, making all our relatives vomit. If you don't compensate us 10 times the price today, I'll immediately call the Market Supervision Bureau to file a complaint against you. The hotel manager, wearing an N95 mask, quickly explained, Mississippi, our hotel would never serve spoiled food. I guarantee that there is nothing wrong with our dishes. Cindy grabbed her collar excitedly and asked, Then tell me, why did all our relatives vomit? Isn't this a clear case of food poisoning? How dare you deny it? You must give me an explanation today. Or, with my boyfriend's financial power, we can bankrupt your hotel in no time. After saying this, she snatched the hotel manager's mask and shouted angrily, I've been fed up with you for a long time. Why are you wearing an N95 during work hours? Are you too ugly to show your face? But the next second, the hotel manager, however, vomited all over her face. Cindy was furious. She slapped the hotel manager back and roared, Do you think I'm giving you face? Are you deliberately trying to ruin my birthday party? This old woman is just jealous of me. Call your hotel manager out right now. If you don't give me an explanation today, you can just wait to go out of business. The hotel manager, feeling wronged, had tears streaming down her face, and could only keep apologizing. I'm sorry. I wasn't feeling well, and accidentally threw up on your face. Can I give you an 88% discount on this meal? Let's not take this matter to our boss. But Cindy, with her hands on her hips, and an arrogant tone, said, Do you think my boyfriend looks like someone who's short on money? What's the point of a discount? How about this? You kneel down and kowtow a few times, and I'll pretend this never happened. After speaking, she looked at the relatives below the stage, with a smug expression as if she were flaunting her privileges to them. The aunt, who was cleaning nearby, couldn't stand it any longer. She threw the broom on the ground and said loudly, I'm done. It's so damn smelly. Wearing a regular mask is completely useless. I've already thrown up 3 times back and forth. After saying that, she covered her nose and mouth and ran out. Just then, my cousin's 6-year-old son rushed out. He ran onto the stage and shouted, You smell so bad. Did you poop and not wipe your butt? All of us are about to pass out from your stench. You should go home and wash up right now. Mom said, No one likes people who don't keep themselves clean. Watching the little brat humiliate her like this, Cindy was furious. She grabbed the little boy by the hair and scolded him loudly, You little brat, how can you be so rude? Just as she was about to slap him across the face, her uncle rushed onto the stage in a flash and carried the little boy down. He angrily pointed at Cindy's nose and told the truth. You really do stink, even more than someone who hasn't bathed in 20 years. You can't blame everyone for vomiting while eating. This really isn't the hotel's fault. For a woman to smell this bad is truly disgusting. At this point, the relatives no longer cared about saving her face, and all started to criticize. Damn, Cindy smells worse than a dead fish in a sewage ditch. __. I've never smelled such a pungent stench in my entire life. No kidding. It feels even more disgusting than the smell of a rotting corpse. I'm so miserable. Not only did I throw up last night's dinner, but I even vomited stomach acid. The livestock within a 10 miles radius are going to be killed by her stench. And that's not an exaggeration at all. Watching everyone scold her for being smelly, Cindy looked at George with a face full of grievance. She blinked her eyes, held his hand, and asked in disbelief, Baby, I don't smell at all. I'm actually fragrant. Right. But the next second, George sneered and pushed her hand away with disgust, saying, Aren't you stinky? Even a dead fish in the sewer doesn't smell as bad as you. If there's something wrong with your nose, you should go to the hospital and get it treated. Let me tell you, I have a fetish for bad smells. Otherwise, do you think I'd be interested in you? It's just that your stench has already exceeded my tolerance. Standing next to you, I feel as disgusted as if I were next to a rotten female corpse. Didn't I tell you I had a surprise for you today? Well, the surprise is that I'm breaking up with you. After saying this, he pushed her away forcefully and walked off without looking back. Cindy was left alone, collapsing to the ground in despair. Her parents, who were nearby, not only did not come forward to comfort her, but instead pinched their noses and shouted angrily, I'm really ashamed. We don't want a daughter like this. Seeing me looking at her with a smug expression, Cindy suddenly rushed towards me like crazy. She grabbed my collar and shouted angrily, Did you actually spray that perfume I gave you on yourself? Molly. I spread my hands and said, with a provocative expression, Of course not. I gave that perfume to Uncle for you. Uncle just mentioned that after spraying your perfume, he felt his overall body odor had reduced quite a bit, but he ended up with a bit of a fox odor instead. Hearing this, Cindy immediately understood what was going on. She picked up the knife on the table and held it against my neck, threatening, Molly, you little __. Why are you so cunning? I kindly gave you perfume, and you turned around and gave it to someone else. Get it back from me right now. If you don't spray this entire bottle of perfume on yourself today, I'll kill you. I sneered and whispered in her ear, Don't think I don't know that your perfume can bind to my body scent transfer system. If I spray it, all your body odor will transfer to me. Cindy widened her eyes and shook her head saying, It's impossible. How did you know this secret? So, you've been lying to me all along. You've been pretending to be smelly to deceive me. Before I could respond to her, Cindy took the bottle of perfume from my uncle's pocket and sprayed it all over me. Bang went the sound. The automatic umbrella in my hand sprang open. The perfume all bounced back onto Cindy herself. Perfect! The original body odor returned to her. Now, she not only carried a foul odor, but also a strong body odor. The two smells overlapped, making it even more terrifying than a biochemical weapon. Everyone present once again vomited stomach acid. Auntie was so overwhelmed by the smell that she fainted on the spot and was taken to the hospital. Second uncle's eyes were stung so badly he couldn't open them, and tears kept streaming down. Third uncle had a stroke from the stench and lay unconscious on the ground. Mom and Dad, afraid of taking responsibility, immediately announced they were cutting ties with her. Cindy blamed it all on me. She picked up the knife and stabbed it straight toward my heart. But Kevin Franklin, who had just arrived, stepped in to block it. Just then, the police arrived, but as soon as they reached the scene, they vomited uncontrollably. Finally, it was the hotel manager who handed the gas masks to the police, allowing them to forcibly take Cindy into the police car. Cindy was sentenced to 7 years in prison for intentional assault. On the night before she was to begin her sentence, she jumped from a building in despair and took her own life because the smell was so unbearable. No one was willing to retrieve her body. In the end, it was the funeral home staff who came to carry her away. I heard that after smelling that odor, the staff vomited for a whole week. Kevin Franklin's arm was injured, and he was hospitalized for half a month before being discharged. Unexpectedly, after being discharged, he started pursuing me frantically again, but I refused. How long can a relationship built on body fragrance last? Besides, he's not exactly a good catch, either. My parents blamed me for missing the chance to marry into a wealthy family, and kept pressuring me to be with him. I took this opportunity to cut ties with them completely, and then completely disappeared from their world. I took all my savings and started living the life I wanted in another city. The future will ultimately be beautiful,